Real question for the two of you. I would imagine making this film was an amazing experience. Could each of you share like a day or two that you'll always remember from making the film?
So many days have gone by. It's hard to pick. It's been over a 3-year adventure for me personally. I can tell you about a prank I pulled. Love it. Pranks are healthy because they keep everybody on their toes, and making a movie can be very, very stressful. And so there was one night we were shooting particularly late, and I think everybody had it, especially with me. It was the full cast. It was the scene where Vera is calling into the jet and explaining why she did what she did, and it's a very long scene and very emotional. And it was a lot of Ken and the other actors, staring at her on this monitor. We're doing take after take.
So tired.
I know, I'm sorry. And we thought we had it, and I said, no, I need one more. And so, rolled cameras, and they're going through it, and then just at a key moment in the scene, instead of playing the footage of the devastation that Vera had was trying to explain, we queued up a very key scene from one of Ken's classic movies, which
Memo's Vacation. And last scene and love scene with Chanti.
So it was the key moment in Memoirs of a Geisha when Ken and Z lock lips. And that had a nice stress relieving.
And everyone there cheering.
That was a good one. But there were just there was a whole slew of pranks. I used to put severed limbs and rubber snakes in the water coolers for the crew. I left a life-size Reagan McNeil from The Exorcist in Millie's trailer, who then proceeded to put it in Vera's trailer. So it was just a good way to keep the stress levels down.
There's a lot of monsters in this movie. What led into the choices to go with the ones that you guys went with? I'm very curious how you chose who you were going to focus on throughout the film.
You mean like Mothra, Rodan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're I keep saying it, but they're the crown jewels of the Toho universe. They're the ones that I feel like most Godzilla fans and even non-Godzilla fans are the most familiar with. So as much as I love King Caesar and Gigan and those guys, they're a little bit more obscure. But anyway, it was just like you sense that they were sort of the first giant monster team up. And I feel like they're truly the most iconic of the Toho universe, so it made sense that they should be the first ones to get readapted to the big screen for Hollywood.
Excuse me, Michael. They are not monsters.
They're characters.
I would like to know what is your very first memory about Godzilla as a Japanese kid?
I didn't see the original, just before I was born, and then I love that Mothra, and then two twins, songs and dancing, and it's very beautiful, and then but I don't like the Godzilla more than Gamera.
Michael, I wanted to know, why was it so special for you to work on a Godzilla movie? And second, is Godzilla King of the Monsters paving the way to Godzilla Cross the Universe movie?
I mean, it meant a lot to me because I think I mentioned earlier in the introduction, was that I grew up watching these movies. When I was a kid, 4 years old, 5 years old, I was a little half Asian kid growing up in Ohio, and I was made fun of a lot. And to watch these amazing movies about giant monsters, and I already had the love of dinosaurs and animals in nature, that were made by other Asian people, meant the world to me. Because other than that, it was cowboys and cops and robbers and just your typical TV shows and movies growing up. Godzilla sort of provided this weird security blanket because he was so strong, he was so powerful. But besides the fact that it was entertaining and fun, I was keenly aware, even at that young age, that there was a message underneath all of it. And I heard that, and that meant a lot. You know, in the same way that Star Wars is really a movie about spirituality, if you dissect it, Godzilla had this like oddly subversive message to it. So that resonated, and the fact that it was made by other Asian people just meant a lot. And so I wanted to continue that. My first attempt at making a film, I think I was around 10 years old, was I took my family's Betamax camcorder, yes, I'm that old, and set it up, and I took my pet tortoise, which a box tortoise, named Tony, and let her rampage through my Star Wars figures. That was my first instinct, was to make a Godzilla movie. And then I tried to do it again in college, and I made a 2-minute Godzilla film. And so it's just always been in the back of my head that I wanted to do that. And I even remember when I was in college, they were shooting Roland Emmerich's movie in New York. And I was like a little bit jealous and a little bit angry that I wasn't going to be able to do it. But here we are. So. And as far as whether this film is setting up a larger universe, duh. You know, I mean, we don't drop Kong's name for nothing. But I mean, honestly, Toho has been doing this since the 50s and 60s. You know, God bless Marvel for what they've done in sort of reviving and modernizing the concept of cinematic universes. They deserve all the accolades in the world for it. But you know, the first attempts at it were the Monsterverse, the monster universe that Universal was just quietly attempting to build back in the 30s and 40s. But then Toho really took the ball and ran with it. And it's because they crossed over Mothra, Rodan, and Godzilla that concept really grew. And so I feel like the legendary Monsterverse working with Toho is really bringing it back home.
If you do, or if you could direct another Godzilla movie, which kaiju should be definitely in it? Which is the favorite one you couldn't direct yet now?
There's one creature that I find fascinating because she's a plant. Her name is Biolante. And she's also one of the very few other female kaiju. But she's interesting because she's almost like this Frankenstein creature. She's a combination of DNA from a scientist's dead daughter, Godzilla, and a rose. And it's like Audrey on steroids.
I love you.